Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 385. First journey for the pre-record episodes, but I think we have a good one here. We also may have one or two people joining in as we're going along, but we'll kind of work them in as we go. But do have actually someone who is returning, hasn't been here in a little while, but is here with us for the recording, and it's great to have him. That is MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer.
Hello, it's great to be here. And also want to say that I got this book just the other day as well.
That's a nice book.
Been reading it. And Sean, I got to say, very, very good quality work you've done. Much better than the 32X book. So,
it's like glossy on the front.
Yeah, we a different cover artist, all I'm saying.
No, I just changed it a little. I wanted the green after the fact because
no, I know, I saw it.
It looks good. Hold up there, nice and shiny. That's the limited edition misprint?
Yeah, it's got page 29 misprint in there. Yeah, I'm gonna get that graded after this show. Actually,
has been rectified if you purchase it on Amazon or Kindle.
Should send it through Iwata just to like complete the cycle.
Did you say Iwata or Wata?
Iwata.
Iwata.
I'm so tired.
Okay. Hey, let me also go over here. We have Celia joining us today as well.
Hi guys, thanks for having me again.
Good to have Celia there. You got like a little Shovel Knight poking out from right behind you. But
oh yeah, that one's from U2's.
There it is. Good to have Celia here with us. Of course, we have Sean RGT. Despite preseason in the NBA, he is showing up with that commitment.
I didn't realize that they're in Abu Dhabi. So the first game today was actually at noon, and then the next game isn't until 10. So we have time.
Nice little window there. Okay. That's for the Knicks specifically.
No. Knicks don't play until Sunday. I need basketball, dude. I've been dying. Like baseball is all right, but I don't really watch it all that much. Shout outs to the Mets. That was some good shit. But yeah,
good ending there.
Yeah, very surprising. But yeah, I need like football's fine, but basketball, I need it.
Basketball, the nice thing about that is when you have football and basketball going at the same time, you have basketball kind of filling in the week for then football to happen on the weekends. So yeah, it all works really well there. And then we also have Evan. Evan's with us as well.
Nope.
How'd your video turn out? Did you get that all wrapped up? The Warhammer one, the rules?
No. The B-roll's in. The B-roll's in. They're dropping rules technically for the recording today, but tomorrow for us. And I got to grab info from that and then weave it in, and then it'll be done.
Okay, wow. This is going to be a longer video?
Hour and 16, I think.
Oh, gosh. I was saying you showed like the timeline of editing on there, and it was just like stuff everywhere. So,
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Jeez. There you go. Let's see. Today, I have quite a few topics actually down. And then I did a few things here because I still want to have some interaction with the viewers and stuff, even though it's pre-recorded. So I have a few things I did. One, I put out over on the Spawncast Network, over on the Patreon. You can check that out in the link below. What I'm going to do is every week, I'm going to post up a spot there where people can have write-ins as kind of like a mailbag. And I'll go through and pick some of them, and we'll feature them right here on the show. So make sure you check that out. Again, I think a few days before I'll post that up, and we'll pick up maybe like 5 or 6 of them as we get more coming in. And then I wanted to also go back to the previous episode that we have.
Hold on. Does anyone hear his mic clipping?
Yeah, I was about to message him that.
So my mic's clipping right now?
Yeah, it gets scratchy and poppy occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you touched it, there was good scratches.
Good scratches?
Yeah.
The good kind of scratches.
Well, no.
Is it better? Is it better now?
It seems all right. It just kind of takes you a minute to. It doesn't happen like instantaneously. It's kind of like every 15 seconds. But just talk. And I'll let you
okay. Well, I have. I wanted to go back to the previous episode and grab comments from the comments. It's still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Evan, explain the comment of the day, but in the sense of the podcast here.
Wait, what the hell?
Like how we do it on the Newswave.
Oh, yeah. We just go into the comments of the video, and we will pick out probably one, maybe more. We don't know. To basically read out to you guys, go over, just chat about. Should be good. So definitely comment below for this video at least. And will we do Twitter stuff?
Is it better?
For now.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's the Evan explained it pretty well there. I picked out It's still doing.
Just go with it. Fuck it.
Just go with it. Fuck it.
I picked out a couple of them. I'll actually cut the power for the Focusrite I have here. And
Just
I'll
cut the
do that too
power.
while we're done. But the idea essentially is I will go through, I'll get comments. So you guys can make it easier on me who are listening by having good comments, thoughtful comments, interesting comments, because I had to wade through a lot of Jason Schreier. A couple of them.
No,
It took
no,
a
I
while.
think the audience liked him, man. They seem to
A lot
really
of
enjoy
kids
him.
that needed help. But hey, membership might also give you a little more weight to our decisions as well. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
there you go. That's true as well. Okay, but the biggest thing is it makes it easier for me to pull your comment and put it on screen when it actually can lead to different conversations and stuff. So a bit of a challenge for the people watching this later on and want to comment. Think about what you're going to drop down there, and we can feature it here because I can also put it up on screen and we can read out the names and everything. So I just wanted to add to it that way. And then I also asked Twitter what they wanted us to talk about. I figured I'd pull one of the questions or topics from there, which is unfortunate right now because the person who I would want to host that, the one I picked is actually not here, but I think we could still actually go over it a bit. So let me see. We are going to start. Let me know if my mic's still clipping, by the way, or if it fixes itself, because if it's still doing it, I will.
It's still.
I have a moment here where I can do that. So let's talk a bit about what we've all been playing this past week. Who wants to go first? Let me know what you've been playing, and I'll get a chance to reset my mic over there.
I'll go first. I'll get it out of the way. I've been playing Shattered Space, the Starfield DLC. I just beat it today as well. It was pretty decent for the most part. The only thing that I didn't like was it runs like absolute dog shit on the Xbox Series X. Like it's really, really bad performance. And that kind of did take me out of the experience in some parts of the game. Otherwise, I think the $30 price tag is a bit of it's a little high for me. I would have preferred it to be about 20. Overall, though, it's a solid piece of DLC. It's not going to push the needle as far as Starfield is concerned. In fact, I think Metacritic gave it a 57 today.
Yes.
So it's probably gotten worse, actually. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I beat it. It was a fun campaign. Got most of the achievements. And I'm going to move on to the game that just came in today, which was the Until Dawn remake. So I'll be checking that out today too. So
That one doesn't sound too good either.
no, it doesn't.
I did start up Starfield as well, MVG. So I'm like 3 hours into it now. People are telling me you can beeline this thing in 6 or 7 hours, something. If you really like, nope, main quest, that's it. Yeah, it's quick. It happens fast.
If you just spam through the cutscenes and just focus on the main quest, I think you could probably knock it out in about 5 or 6 hours easily.
Sounds like a Bethesda game. Yeah.
You have to pay money for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't come with Game Pass.
Ugh, no, I'm not playing that.
So I had a premium edition key for when I bought my collector's edition. So I didn't even know I was getting it, but I ended up getting it. So I thought I'll play it.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah, it's the only thing I'm a little concerned about now is I thought the idea of being on a singular planet and that's it would actually help a lot with the experience. But I'm realizing now, as I'm just on this one planet, it actually completely defeats the idea of Starfield, which is to planet jump, go from one to the other and explore. And you do feel kind of confined here. And I got to be honest, so far, just from the quest line and the story, it's not that compelling for me. Just for right now. Maybe it gets better.
I agree. I think the opening part in the space station was really good. That was giving me Dead Space vibes. I'm like, okay, this is good. But then I don't want to spoil it, but like eventually you get off the space station and it just becomes more traditional Starfield for me. And I was like, all right, this is cool, but what happened to the Dead Space stuff? Because that was the stuff that really got me excited about this game. And unfortunately, it doesn't really come back at all. So that was a bummer for me.
I know they wanted to use a planet of some kind for this. I wouldn't have minded if they used that like a really big space station you came across, almost like a big mothership that was like something happened there. I wouldn't have minded if they used that as just the DLC. like Lost in Space or something like that, and it's just this abandoned thing, and you're trying to figure it out rather than go to a planet even, just based on what I'm seeing now. But you're right, when you first get there, and they showed that early part in like the trailer where it's like zero gravity, really cool stuff. It was
awesome, that stuff. I don't know why they kind of just gave you like an hour worth of it, and then it was just kind of typical Bethesda style Starfield missions after that. The zero G stuff was awesome. I was like, this is great. And I was just hoping that the whole DLC would just exist in that space station, but obviously it does not. So,
Celia, what you got for us?
So I'm playing the Plucky Squire. I have a few games. I'm like at chapter 7, so I'm like 70% done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very mixed feelings about that game. I'm going to beat it because I try to beat all the games that I own, but the unskippable cutscenes is kind of driving me crazy. I think we're just spoiled to be able to do that in most games now, so I'm just getting impatient. But yeah, so that's kind of fun. I'm also playing Persona 3's DLC and Zelda. So I'm basically doing like a mad dash to beat all these games before Metaphor comes out, because that's going to take out my entire life.
Metaphor is out in like less than a week now.
Yeah, I know. I have a countdown. I'm very stressed. How about you guys?
Okay. Metaphor, they said Metaphor is 80 hours long.
Yeah. Well, that's to be expected. Like all Persona like SMT games are like 100+ hours. So I'm expecting for this to like eat my entire life.
Okay. Are you getting Metaphor on what system are you getting that on?
I'm probably gonna get it on Xbox, to be honest, because I have more memory. Well, I only have a couple games on there. My Xbox is new, so I only have a couple games on it right now. So there's more memory. On my PS5, I would have to like delete a few, and I don't want to do that. So.
Okay, interesting, good stuff. Yeah, I figured you were already like into the demo for Metaphor, but maybe are you holding that off to try to get these other things done?
So I got into the demo and then I had to stop myself because I was like, I got to the campfire to avoid any spoilers. I got to the campfire and then I was like, okay, should I continue or like beat all my other games in my current backlog? And I decided the latter. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, so most demos, that campfire would have been the end of the demo. You know what I mean? Like based on what they showed, I was a little surprised that they're like, nope, we get big events coming up. Let's go.
Yeah, same. I literally was like, wow, like after, the stuff that happened and you're in the campfire, I was like, wow, like that was incredible. I can't wait for the game. And I was like, wait, this doesn't look like the ending. And then I Googled it's like a 6-hour demo. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yep.
We're spoiled.
Yep. It is quite a lengthy demo. What about what you got, Sean?
Yeah, still just playing Echoes of Wisdom and little spurts here and there. Yeah, my opinion on it pretty much has remained the same. And Wrestling Empire on the Nintendo Switch just added mutilation. Because like
what?
Yeah, because like back in the day, there was a version of the game that had it. So like if you did like an explosion match or something, like limbs would fly off, and it was only in one version. And then he put it in an update on the Switch version. So now the limbs like dismemberment is back. It's super cool.
You said mutilation. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like if you get hit with
That's
like
in the
dynamite,
script.
if you get hit with dynamite, or you do like an exploding barbed wire match or something, like you'll lose limbs.
All right.
It was like BioFreaks. Game was awesome.
What is that? What does that game? Is that game look like a PS1 style game, or what does it look like?
Yeah, kinda. It's
Okay.
kind of art cartoony, but I mean, it's actually interesting. Like people make for the PC builds, people like make mods for them and have like, because it doesn't have real wrestlers. It has kind of just people that look like real wrestlers.
Team knockoffs, yeah.
Yeah, with different names and stuff. But people actually on the PC, they make like WWE 2K24 builds for the game and like replace all the wrestlers and all the graphics and stuff like that. It's very interesting.
Okay. I've noticed you keep saying you're playing Zelda in small spurts. No, it's not that Zelda game that keeps you playing for like 7 hours at a time. Like Tears of the Kingdom. I remember when that thing came out. You said I just played that thing all day.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like it.
Okay.
The menu just takes me. It just annoys me, and it takes me out of it. And like I'll play it for like an hour and be like, okay, I'm good for now.
Okay. Evan, I know what game you've been playing because I see you on Steam playing it constantly.
Yeah, Kitten Seed still playing.
Still playing Kinsey. Okay, wow.
It's enjoyable. It has some weak parts, but I mean, they're still working stuff out.
Okay, good stuff. So Zelda, Starfield, those are 2 games I'm waiting for this week coming up when a lot of stuff's about to drop. But there was another game I fired up because I was going to do a video on it. I was interested to do something with it. This is so old now, and that's the Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. But what I found was on Steam, because like PC modding it's like undefeated. People basically have already remastered the entire game. Like, it's fully remastered.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a build. I did a Series S video, an emulation and homebrew video. There's a build for it that runs on dev mode on the Series S and X. It's awesome. It is so
it's
good.
Ridiculous. They
So
replaced
good.
textures with like Jedi Outcast textures, and like it looks like a brand new game. And I'm playing this like this is absolutely incredible. No one's really played Jedi Knight like that. Like recently, whenever I hear people talk about Star Wars games, they always talk about like you could say like Dark Forces 1 technically, but like they'll go Jedi Outcast, they'll go Jedi Academy, Knights of the Old Republic, and then Force Unleashed and some of the more recent ones. But if you look at the list of best rated Star Wars games, it's like Jedi Knight is the second best rated Star Dawn game ever made. And it's just, it never gets talked about because it came out in 1997. But now it looks completely different with these mods. So you're right.
It came out during the dawn of 3D graphics cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of those, like one of those games that kind of beat up your card for a while. If you
it was right there with like Voodoo and like those kind of cards were
NVIDIA, TNT, and whatever they had back then.
Yeah, but it's awesome. Yeah, I fired it up and I forgot it has like the crunchy cutscenes and stuff. Like they have live actions. They have real people in the cutscenes and they look like little mini Star Wars episodes. It's really cool. So I want to do a video on it at some point because it's my favorite Star Wars game and it's one that we still don't have a remaster for. So I need Night Dive did Dark Forces.
They did Dark Forces remaster. I'm hoping
somebody to get
hoping they get this one as well. This would be cool.
Dark Forces 2. Yeah, it's got a lightsaber and it'll help sell. It's a lightsaber. It's now it's a good game. More people should experience it. I will follow up with that probably with a video. That's most of what I was checking out, having a blast doing it. So, but this week coming up is gonna be crazy. So there's a lot of stuff hitting. Sparking Zero, Silent Hill 2, Metaphor. So it's just like we're just starting to roll into October with all kinds of stuff dropping. I'm still looking forward to that. I did write this down because I thought it was a funny thing that came out of Tokyo Game Show, even though MVG was like, no. Where does the X button? Did you guys see Phil Spencer pick up the controller for PlayStation and he said it's in the wrong place?
Yeah.
He pointed to it and said X is in the wrong place. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? All 3 of the console manufacturers, they put X in a different place. Nintendo puts it somewhere different than PlayStation and Microsoft, even though I know cross X, where you get what I'm saying. The 2 lines that look like either a plus sign or a sideways or an X, whatever. But where in your mind, if you had closed your eyes and imagine a controller, where would the X button be?
Up your ass. I don't know. I play too many. Like I don't know. I don't really think of it like that.
You don't really think of the X button?
No, because you're not looking at the controller when you're playing a game. You're just playing the game. And yes, it might take you a second switching between the 3. But I guess if I had to pick one, I would say the bottom button.
The bottom. Okay.
Yeah,
so like
southmost button.
I always thought it was the right because back then I was told the X and Y were placed as X and Y axis. So the X axis is cross and the Y axis is up and down. So that's why Y would be at the bottom. But I mean, it didn't really matter. It's just a button. 9 times out of 10, when I play games on Steam, it's like press button 1. That's not on this controller, but all right, I'll figure it out.
See, I thought about it a bit, and I don't know. I kind of feel like that left, like the left quadrant. So the reason I say that is because I'd always press X to reload back in the day for like different Xbox shooters and stuff, and that kind of just ingrained into my mind. But otherwise, I guess it would be PlayStation, like that south quadrant. I don't know. That was an interesting one. I said, man, X, because we always had that conversation around A and B, how those get flipped between Xbox and Nintendo. But no one ever talks about the X button, man. And it was in the wrong place. So I'm going with left quadrant, even though it's completely off for PlayStation and Nintendo. I think Xbox pressed X to reload was right on it. And another question I had, should Nintendo change the color scheme for their games for the next generation? The Wii was white cases, the Wii U was blue cases, the Switch was red cases.
Yes,
Do they have a different color scheme, or do they
They
stick
should.
with red?
they should
We
have a
should.
different color scheme.
Okay. Well, if the Switch is just red, they went Nintendo Red. Are they sticking with Nintendo Red, or are they just going some other complete different color for it to differentiate from the current Switch?
At this point, with a lot of the cases out from a lot of the different companies, it would be hard to pick a good color because, like, you go black, that's PlayStation. You want to go green? Nope, that's Microsoft. So would it just be a different shift of red?
I hope they bring
Yeah.
back Indigo. I want Indigo so badly. Like
Interesting. Like an Indigo.
that would be incredible. But you know, it's up to them. Like they could stick with red, but like with branding in general for Nintendo, like I don't know. Like it's good to differentiate because you never want in a new console situation for people to do the Wii U Wii thing where they just figured it was the same and it bled over into literally anything and everything. So it would be good to differentiate, but like red is like so natural for the Switch and Nintendo in general that I wouldn't blame them if they just kept it the same.
Would the case need to be a different color or just the actual insert, do we think? Because if you just change how the insert feels completely, then when you see them all next to each other, you'll still be able to discern which is which if it's the same case size and everything. So maybe that could just be better.
Yeah, because Sony went from like blue to like white for their logo, then on the casing. So that's all they really changed technically.
But it kind of
Next
matches
was
the
black.
console, though, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
matches
it does.
the PS5 itself.
Huh.
That's kind of
Yeah.
how I always thought about it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it does. It does. I'm looking at the Switch cases now, just like lined up, and I'm imagining you just get the same kind of case with a Switch 2 logo at the top, and I'm thinking that would blend in
written
quite
on.
a bit.
I think there's
yeah.
gonna be the red in the next generation games, but it may not be the dominant color. But I think there'll be some red in the case. Maybe
It'll
red.
be a lush mahogany.
Like a red and white kind of maybe, or I don't know, maybe if
Okay.
they do like I'm trying to think of what color they would try to like use in there to accent that. Maybe like I don't know, maybe white is the way, like red and white, or red and like a silver or something. I don't know. That's tough. It's hard to say what their branding's going to be for it, and that to relate it to the Switch still.
Just get really
But I
gaudy. Go red and gold.
Red and gold. I was like, man, how are they going to change that up? That's I don't know. It's such a shift from Wii with white to then blue with the Wii U and now red. It's like, do you completely shift it again or just stick with red? It's whatever it is. It's probably going to look weird next to the current Switch case. I had the Twitter topic here, and OJ's not here, and I wanted him to be able to speak on it before Sean posted another picture in the thread.
What?
So
what
this was
picture?
it seemed to be the one that was the most interesting to people in there. And some of the other ones people listed, to be fair, I already wrote down here for topics. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, we're not just going to do that twice then. So it was from player 1577466. Okay. That's from Nintendo Prime versus Player Essence. So this was this 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
Look at Drama Wave over here.
We're getting.
I
into
wanted
it.
OJ so he could explain it. So he could explain how he was feeling, what he was doing there with it. OJ got blocked.
Well, he might step in.
He got in
can
trouble.
Talk about it.
He got blocked.
I was trying to send him a message.
But Sean will make videos on the Switch 2 stuff occasionally where he has the blanket and the mug and that, and it's about like the sickness. That was a Nintendo Direct sickness, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I've used it for Switch 2 as well because it is
Okay.
it is a sickness. Like it's insane.
It's a disease.
Well, what I could gather is OJ was, like poking fun at the idea of Switch 2 videos constantly. And that then went off the rails and eventually got to the point where OJ got blocked.
It happens.
But
what can you do?
I heard the Switch 2 announcement next week, though.
Hey, if you say it every week, eventually it'll happen.
I saw it was on Reddit. That
Oh, Christ.
Big deal. It's a big deal. Reset Era, I think, too, had it. It's everywhere now. Next week, get the hopes up.
Okay. And
Okay.
then,
Well,
I swear to God, if motherfuckers take a victory celebration.
oh yeah, hold on, Sean. What happens if next week let's just say that Nintendo on Tuesday is like, hey, tune in on Thursday, the 10th, to get the first look at our plans for next generation. And then the victory laps happen. How are you going to feel, Sean?
No, sorry. You don't get to do that. You don't get to throw shit at the wall and then something finally sticks and you're like, see? Like, no, that's not how this works.
Please tell me you've got a collection of receipts so that when they start doing it, you can just be like, let me go into my file and point out all the times for decades you've been saying it.
I don't even think you need that at this point. Like, not to say that this is, a Nintendo Prime thing, since that's kind of what we were talking about. But there are a lot of people who have been saying, like, definitively things about it. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, if that's what a motherfucker wants to watch, who am I to say anything? People want to watch what they want to watch. If people weren't watching those videos, then they, people wouldn't make those kind of videos. So it is what it is.
I think people really want to be excited for the Switch too. They're just like, we've been through this so many times now. I'm just kind of waiting for Nintendo to actually say something else, because they already said something once. It's like, I'll just wait to see what else they have to say when they're ready to say it, which I feel like would be this month, but who knows? Nintendo could technically wait till next year.
It's just it's hard because it's tiring. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, it is, but hopefully it's about to come to a head soon. Okay. Let me get into some of the topics here, because I'm glad MVG is here for the first one. Okay, because this is MVG himself has been targeted over some of this before. Okay,
good.
So it's not. Hey, you be careful, Sean. I think Nintendo's making the rounds. They're looking for thumbnails of people smiling with Tears of the Kingdom next to them.
1.1 million view video about emulating Breath of the Wild on Ryu Jinx.
No. That's just the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail.
Okay.
I show a game that I'm friends with the people that made it.
Sean looked so happy in that thumbnail.
I was. That was my shit-eating grin, because fuck Nintendo sometimes.
Okay, well, Nintendo is becoming incredibly aggressive right now. We had seen Retro Game Corps put out like basically a message that they received copyright takedown from Nintendo. They have 2 strikes right now, which when you get 2 strikes, the third one, the channel's gone. So they're being extremely careful with this, but it seems to come down to, for their situation was the Wii U that was modded, and I believe was running Nintendo first party games as it was modded.
Okay.
Which seems to be
No, wasn't it? It was
that
Wii...
handheld, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was it's a Wii U emulator for Android, because that's a new thing. There hasn't been one for Android, and you can only use like Snapdragon processors with it. But they showed first party footage. I'll take over the topic, John. They showed first party game footage, which, technically you can't buy the Wii U version of any game to give Nintendo money. So what's the point? But, that makes things a little bit trickier, I feel. So what ended up happening was they've received a second strike. The first strike was for MIG switch stuff and just showcasing how that worked. I'm not sure if they used first party footage in that video, because I never saw that video, but they are essentially, 3 strikes, you're out. It's 3 strikes within 90 days of each other, but it like restarts if you get another strike. So he's going to have to do a bunch of different things that are going on. And then, of course, was 2 days later, the Ryu Jinx emulator, which is the second biggest, I guess by default now it was the biggest Nintendo Switch emulator, was taken down off of GitHub, and a statement was put out through someone else from the creator of Ryu Jinx saying essentially, they won't be going through with it anymore, this, that, and the other. Some people thought this was a peaceful thing. It turns out it wasn't a peaceful thing. Nintendo essentially showed up at this individual's door with a C&D saying, take down Ryu Jinx. And then there was another situation that was covered on Mr. Sujano's channel, which I talked about today, where a content creator who decided to remain anonymous, who is allegedly a very large content creator, bigger than any of us schmucks here on this channel, by a long shot, received an email stating that they were the way it was worded to me, and someone else on this panel agreed with me, that it sounded like it was more so not the emulator itself, but playing games via the emulator, more than likely first party games, maybe with enhancements or something like that, this, that, or the other. Nintendo recommended that they take down all of those videos, or else, you know, things would progress. If you remember, at the start of September, there was a story making the rounds that Nintendo had updated their content creation policies, and many people just sort of downplayed it as, you know, it's something that always seems to get updated. But it seems like since then there has been a more concentrated effort on things. And if you look at what is allowed and what isn't allowed, stuff like modifying a game like isn't allowed. And I just find that to be so perplexing, because, okay, you know what? You want to say most people that use emulation are using it for piracy. Whatever, you know, you can make that argument, and I don't even necessarily think you're wrong. But if I was to buy, you know, if I take my copy of Echoes of Wisdom, let's say I bought it physically, all right, and I want to dump that and play it on my PC so I can actually play it at a good frame rate and hot map some keys in order to, you know, put some echoes on it or something like that. Like, what does it matter? I've already purchased the game. I'm using my game to play it via the PC. But if you dump your own game, it's like, and the problem is, the bigger problem with this is, it seems like Nintendo is retroactively enforcing their updated policies, because some of these things that have been put into question were things that happened before Nintendo updated their policy to include these things. And that's a whole nother area, because let's be realistic, every single individual that Nintendo goes after, unless you're fucking Linus Tech Tips or someone who's just pissing money out their ass, they're not going to want to go to court over this. They're not going to want to, you know, challenge Nintendo over it. But are they actually right? You know, you're going to learn a lot about what's right and what's wrong about Nintendo kind of slinging their e-peen around with stuff like this, with the whole Palworld situation, because allegedly the patents in the Palworld situation were enacted after Palworld was already, you know, in development, and I think already had like early testing and stuff done on it. So you can't just retroactively change rules and then punish people for that kind of stuff. I'll shut up now.
Yes, you can. Legally, first to file for patent and trademarks is something that is taken in court.
Right, but
in Japan in general, there is no fair use. So what we view that through like American legal system of like fair use or parity or doing that does not exist in Japan. And yeah, their reach is in the States because they have, you know, Nintendo of America, and they have unlimited money to just do whatever they want, unfortunately.
So if I were to make a game, called Pen, and it's a game about a pen, and then Nintendo decides to copyright Pen as a game, they can.
Did you first file? Did you file it first?
But a mechanic, a game mechanic.
A game mechanic. It depends. Did they have a competing product that they can file for that? There's a lot. I'm not a lawyer. I've skimmed things because I was just kind of really curious. So I could be wrong, and people can actually me like later on. But it's just kind of one of those things where if you have a competing thing and you do it and it's infringing there, and you are the first to file for that, you do own that mechanic's patent. That's just kind of how it works in the legal system. There's a lot of that. You could take
insane.
if someone has, I don't know, like a name of something, and they file for it, they can own that trademark, and then you're kind of just screwed.
If you're a basement dweller with nothing to do, I want you to go through every single Nintendo game and try to find something that maybe Nintendo forgot to patent, and then patent it yourself and sue the fuck out of them and see what happens.
Are you a basement dweller?
Yeah, which room in the house are you in there, Sean?
Is they will drag it in court. They will file things at you in discovery period and drag it.
But exactly,
and then
that's
what they'll do is they'll bury you in debt.
Yes,
you don't
that's
fucking
not
Nintendo.
right. But that's not right. How does nobody like see that?
But that's the thing. Nintendo's not the only company that does that. It's just one of their tactics.
This is corporate bullying. I mean, it's something that not only Nintendo is guilty of. Sony's done it before as well. And I think, you know,
PS4 slib.
Yeah, PS4 Slim. There's been a lot of that over the years, but I do agree that I feel like what's happening right now is this is a new thing that's going on right now. Like this is a new initiative, and I will say that it's very interesting. The timing is around Echoes of Wisdom, another Zelda game, because if you remember last year with Tears of the Kingdom, it was all about Yuzu and all the downloads and stuff. Now it just seems, I don't know, very coincidental maybe, or maybe not, that they're going after not only emulators, they're going after YouTubers. And by the way, there are a lot of YouTubers out there that have footage of like games like Breath of the Wild running at 4K 60, trying to show us what it may look like on the Switch 2. I would say if you have that kind of footage on your channel, that is the type of footage that Nintendo is very interested in removing. So if you got it, I would take a look at your backlog.
And if you use it incrementally, YouTube does have a blur feature that you can use that I have noticed a lot of content creators are starting to use, where you can retroactively go into a video and blur something out of that video. Right. So then, because I don't like, people are like, well, I've had people ask me, well, aren't you worried? Like, your most popular video? It's like, well, I mean, no, like, I didn't show you how to get keys. I didn't show you any of that stuff. I didn't show any first party Nintendo stuff. I did it by the book. And the book, as you would say. But like one of the hangups is just like, at what point are you going to have accountability for this? Why are you the only company that has these sorts of issues? Why are you the only company where your games leak so much earlier? They get put out onto the internet. There's no anti-piracy protection, and people can play these on the computer. Why? Like, I don't get it. Like, that should be the focus. That should be what they're trying to focus in on. And I get that you're at the end of a generation, so easier said than done. But if this next system comes out, and we all assume it's going to be kind of similar, at least in architecture to this, and if you didn't take any sort of precautions, like I don't get it.
I would hope that they learned a lot from this generation with that. I'd hope they have all kinds of security measures in place when it comes to their games. That got away from them this generation. I think you're right, Sean. They're at the end of their generation now. So it's like, okay, well, we've already sold X amount of games for this generation. How do we prevent basically games being dumped and then downloaded and distributed all over the place? That MVG's right. That Tears of the Kingdom thing, that really annoyed them. Like, I think that put them over the edge.
And I think
that one in particular.
Echoes is annoying them as well, that the game did leak a little early. People are running it. There was some screenshot of it running on Ryujinx like 2 weeks before it came out or something.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that really gets under the skin of Nintendo. And, they just decided to respond. Look, that's kind of what it looks like, at least, right? I mean, this maybe is something, like I said, that they've been planning to do for a while. This may be a coordinated thing where it's just hitting YouTubers, emulators, copyright, DMCA, all at the same time. Because, Retro Game Core was also hit. And there's also like, what was the other thing that happened? They did something else recently as well.
But the thing about Retro Game Core is it was Wii U stuff.
Yeah. And see, you mentioned something interesting about retroactively updating, their policies and stuff. So when I got 2 strikes and 2 claims on my videos, so 4 videos, and all 4 of them got removed. One of them was like over a year and a half old, so they went back into the archives to something that I had done like back in like 2017 or something like that, 2018.
Oh wow.
So they don't care. Like Retro Game Core was saying that he felt like he was being targeted. I think he was. I think that they were literally just going through all of his videos and just scrubbing them for content.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The Ryujinx emulator that got pulled down, there was a message that we found out about this after they started pulling down the GitHub stuff, but a person put out a message for it, and it was shared on Twitter, which was from Perry. And they mentioned that the person, I guess, who was like the head or the
GDK Chen.
Thank you, GDK Chen. And the idea here was they were contacted by Nintendo. There seemed to be a belief, which is odd to me, that Nintendo paid them off and bought Ryujinx. Who
whoever started that needs to just log off the internet for a while. Like that's insane, bro. Why would they do that?
They don't.
Or, like they
They-
don't.
They
Everyone
basically
knows that
they gave him him a one-time offer. Walk now, and we won't proceed with any legal proceedings against you. This probably has 24 hours. You have to make a decision. Otherwise, we're going to throw everything we got at you. And the thing is, I bet you that they found some stuff when they were going through Ryujinx. Like Ryujinx, for the most part, has been above board. You know, they don't talk about keys. They don't share ROMs around and all that sort of stuff. But I bet you they found something like in the code that's DMCA, that's copyright, that's ours, that's protected, and you know, and I think GDK Chan just got scared shitless like anyone else in that situation would. When if you've got like two people or multiple people from Nintendo's lawyers, whoever it is, knocking on your door, basically telling you to stop, otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble. That would scare the shit out of just about anyone, I would think. Not me though.
Yeah. To jump in on that, so I used to work in like hardware, third-party hardware, and I've had some run-ins with Nintendo before, allegedly. And yeah, Nintendo's lawyers, like, they don't come after you in person unless they have damning evidence that if you don't stop, like, they will come after you. And they double check. So you don't just go, okay, I pinky swear, and that's it. Like, they come back and like their eyes are on you, and that's it. I'm so surprised someone started a rumor that Nintendo paid them off. Like,
that's absurd.
That has never happened in history.
Yeah, I don't really know why Nintendo would give them money to go away when they. You're right, MVG. They probably, after what we heard from the Yuzu thing, I think was eye-opening for people because so many believe that Yuzu was just like clean, like no issues, and then Nintendo was like, "Yeah, we were in their Discord. We were logging everything. We were watching. It's like they got like serious."
And there could have been a similar situation like that. But if you kind of look at it, I mean, we've given three different instances here. We've given an in-person one for Ryujinx. We've given a copyright claim for Retro Game Core, and then an alleged email to a large content creator. So it's very interesting how there's multiple heads to this, like, and now it's a pressing issue.
Yeah, I go ahead, MG.
I do want to say, look, Ryujinx is gone, and a lot of people say, you know, you cut the head off the Hydra, and that's true. Like, there are many, you can still download it. There are forks available. People are still actively working on it. The thing is, now that both the main two Switch emulators are gone, it means that any type of continuing development, like that is significant, is going to stop. Like, I think what we'll start to see now is just kind of smaller maintenance type releases, and that's a real shame. And that's the part that really gets me worried about the future, right? Because that's now we start talking about preservation at that point, right? Like, and look, I get it. Everyone has a Switch now, and they play their games, and everything is great. But you know, we've seen the 3DS store close. We've seen the Wii U shop close down. Eventually, the same thing's going to happen with the Switch. Even though they're saying everything's going to be in one kind of Nintendo account and one ecosystem, we still don't know that yet, right? But here's what I do know: like 10, 15 years from now, people are going to want remakes of Switch games, right? And if source code's not available, you have to resort to emulation. And if you've basically gone in and just destroyed Switch emulation, then it's going to make it a lot more difficult. So I think the topic of preservation in this situation cannot be understated. Like, what Nintendo's doing, they think they're doing the right thing, but ultimately they're just kind of stifling it, really, and that's really sad.
I have two things to add. One, because we're not even factoring in, okay, well, it's gonna carry over, sure, but things get delisted. Super Mario 3D All Stars delisted.
Thank you.
Fire Emblem game delisted. You cannot give Nintendo money because they do not allow you to give them money for that. So it's when you think licenses last forever, there's a reason why games are constantly removed from different online services, because it's not just the game license. There's music. If there's a property that's being used in
Cars,
there, or
yeah.
cars or something like that, these have limited licenses. So while it might not affect you today, it can affect you down the road. But all I know is this is the perfect time, and I'm sure that they are diligently working on this. Everything's in full blast over at the
They're at that copy machine.
the Video Game Preservation Society. They're on the phone with Nintendo right now. They're figuring out things. So I'm not worried about it. You know, I sleep very well at night knowing that they are at the behest of this and they are going to solve all of the problems.
Okay. Good stuff. The other thing, though, MVG, you're right about the development side. We've watched some emulators like RPCS3 or whatever. We've seen that completely evolve into a very competent emulator that can do some really cool stuff with PS3 games. But if it, let's say, got struck down by Sony 4 years ago, we've never seen that. I mean, it still seems to have ways to go, but I mean, some of the stuff they're doing is impressive. So it does also make me wonder where Switch emulation could have been 10 years from now, even if Nintendo didn't show up here.
That's true. I mean, RPCS3 is just keeps getting better. Like, it's got over 70% compatibility, which is huge for PlayStation 3. And yeah, you're right. If Sony came in and basically, you know, just told them to stop a couple of years ago, we'd still be playing a really bad version of Metal Gear Solid 4 on thing. You know what I mean? Like, if you go in and you basically try to force, you know, the hand of an emulator that's currently being developed in active development, it can only be a bad thing, you know, in the future. It's never a good thing. And Sony still doesn't have a PS3 solution for the PlayStation 5, but the community does.
Yeah. That is kind of weird to think about it that way, but hey, Konami might take a shot at it. Maybe they'll get Metal Gear Solid 4 emulating correctly. We'll see.
I think if that's rumored to be on the collection number 2, I would say that they've somehow found the code for it and they're just kind of rebuilding it. Cool. That's what I would think. I'd be very surprised if they're emulating a PlayStation 3, because also, I mean, that collection will come out for the Switch, so you know we have to be serious about it.
It could be the Nintendo Switch too.
Thank you.
Let me jump over here to the game that people were apparently playing a couple weeks ago ahead of time on an emulator. That's Zelda: Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. We got some initial sales data back for it, and it's actually, shockingly, in Japan, I will say shockingly, because this is ahead of Breath of the Wild, the second biggest opening for the Zelda franchise on the Switch, topping 200,000 units. Emulation. Yeah. This one surprised me a little. I don't think it's going to sell as much as Breath of the Wild, obviously, in the long run, because that's like far and away the best selling Zelda game. That's a pretty good start for Echoes of Wisdom, which is not a more traditional Zelda game. And the top-down aspect is one I would like to see them actually continue putting more and more effort into, because I think that's the only way we get traditional dungeons anymore. I think we're full on open world going forward with whatever's after Tears of the Kingdom. So I was happy to see the sales like this. Also, like I said, a little surprised, but happy to see it. I guess that means, you think that means we're gonna just go top-down Zelda, 3D Zelda remake, top-down Zelda 3, like we're just gonna go back and forth between these now?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't have every one of them be a bit. I think you might even see smaller things like you saw with Cadence and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one though to have that. Like, I like it when they get at least creative with it in that regard. People have been calling for remakes of things like Ocarina and stuff, but maybe they'll go back now, seeing this, and they'll remake Zelda 2.
Maybe Shovel Knight and Zelda will make a baby.
I really want Ages and Seasons. Like, if they were to make that remake in the similar vein, I would love that. Same with Minish Cap. It's so charming. I would also love them to make 2D pixel art versions of their 3D games, but that's not going to happen.
Oh, I see.
Just
Like
putting that out in
like
the
a
universe.
remake of it.
God, I'd want that so bad. You mentioned doing Ocarina or Majora's Mask like that. A pixel art remake would be my dream. That's never going to happen, but I'm just throwing that out into the universe.
It's actually an interesting idea to go that route. Demakes of them. Those are pretty popular, like for just modders to do that. So, be kind of cool. Sean, I threw some Metal Gear Solid stuff in here for you because, my gosh, this is rough for you right now. You're seeing some incredible stuff put in front of you with Delta, but they won't tell you when you can play it.
I know.
I kind of feel for you on this one. But there was something brought up about the idea of remaking Metal Gear Solid 1. And in fact, Konami says that would indeed be harder to remake than Metal Gear Solid 3. And I had to think about this a little bit, which, there's Twin Snakes. Okay. So I had to think about this a little bit because I was like, all right, so they've done it before, right? As you're holding it right there. They have. And did you see some of the stuff?
It was fucking Silicon Knights with Dan Dyack.
Dennis Dyack.
Yeah, Dennis, yeah.
Did you see the stuff that they showed off about 3 where they have 2 different modes? They have like the newer experience and then like the legacy one with the camera angle. So one's like third person, the other one's like the standard fixed camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they said that the third person camera, kind of like that Resident Evil remake style look almost to it, right? Or you could even say just Metal Gear Solid 5, I guess. But that made the game too easy to have it like that because your line of sight was really like you could see very far and you were able to shoot and move at the same time.
They said, but that was a topic for, look who decided to show up. A little Zelda streamer there.
I'm so sorry.
That was a point that was brought up with Twin Snakes because Twin Snakes used Metal Gear Solid 2's camera system, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's ruined the Ocelot fight because now you could just switch to first person."
It made it very easy.
Yeah, it made it very easy and stuff like that. People got the fuck over it. You know
There's
what I'm
more,
saying?
Though.
People do kind of dunk on Twin Snakes, though.
A lot of people don't like the color palettes in Twin Snakes.
The
it's
real problem,
more of a blue than a green.
But the real issue that people had with Twin Snakes was the cutscenes because the cutscenes were all matrixy and stuff like that.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah,
I liked them, but like you can't like I don't understand that because you can't modify things to make that work. Like I don't get that. That to me it sounds like, hey, let's see how this game does, and if it sells well, then hey, you know, we'll probably go back into the vault and do something with it. Like,
I think one of the hardest systems to remake a game for has to be the PlayStation 1 because there's a certain vibe about PS1 games, as you know. It's that grainy, unfiltered 3D look, and if you deviate away from that, people are going to get annoyed. And I think that's what they're saying. Like, I think they've already tried it with Twin Snakes, and yeah, I like Twin Snakes, by the way. I have no issue with it. I think it's a really, really good remake, but a lot of people just don't care for it. And I think
jumped off a rocket though.
The original game is over 25 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I get what you're saying, and I think there would be people upset with it. But we would be the people. Like we would be the ones that might be upset with it. But the average
who gives a shit about us?
Really, at the end of the day, I mean, it's about younger people who have never played this game outside of the collection, and they're probably like, "Oh wow, this plays and looks like shit." So, you know, if they were to remake it, like the original doesn't go away, the Twin Snakes doesn't go away. Like, I don't know if Metal Gear Solid Delta, whatever the fuck they call it, does well, I fully expect them to go back into the backlog and
gotta do that first one
and do the first one. I mean, you know, would people be upset if they remade the first Twisted Metal? Like, that's nearly unplayable nowadays if you try to boot it up. Like that to me is like the mantra that the Tekken guy said. Oh, 3D fighters from that era, they don't hold up as well as the 2D animated ones. Bullshit. Go play Virtua Fighter 2 on Xbox Live Arcade right now. Like it plays amazing. Internal temp high. Allow it to cool.
You're just too fire, Sean. You're too fire.
I do think, Sean, that a lot of, if they did it well, Metal Gear Solid 1, even if there were like little nitpicks here and there, whether it is like, oh, this part's too easy or this part was broken from first person, dude, that opening scene, so many like old heads would fold when you have like Snake going on the elevator and like going between him and Liquid and the title screen hits. I mean, come on, like people would be like, all right, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, people would.
Fine.
I mean, when did all? I mean, that's what you're getting nowadays is remakes and remasters. I'd rather have a remaster of a PS1 or a PS2 game instead of a fucking PS4 game.
Sure.
That's true.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, do you want them to remake that or a Metal Gear Solid Queefer edition? Because I don't want that.
I like Metal Gear Solid 1 if they can remake that.
What about Ghost Babel? Remake that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but that's not really officially kind of canon. Like
Metal
it's kind
Gear
of
on
canon,
the NES.
but it's not really. Like, do you want to remake Acid? You want to play a card game?
Oh
No.
yeah, that is a car. Oh, there you go, Sean. I hope
Acid
that's the
2.
next one. They're gonna give
Bro,
you.
I bought those fucking games back in the day, and I played them trying to convince myself that it was awesome, and there's going to be people in the comments, it is awesome. No, it's not. Would you rather play a card Metal Gear game or a Metal Gear game? I rest my case.
Josie, how was Zelda going?
It's great. I'm having a good time.
You like
I
it?
really like
That's
it a
good.
lot.
That's
I'm
good.
about halfway through currently, so that's
We just
what
heard
was the
that
favorite.
as the second biggest opening for a Zelda game on the Switch in Japan.
Shit. What were
Yeah.
the sales of that?
Just over 200,000.
Okay.
200,000 copies. Yep, that's above
Josie-
Breath of the Wild's opening.
Is it your game of the year so far?
That's a good question. I feel like I
Hmm.
haven't played anything that's really like wowed me this year too much, except for maybe this so far. So probably. I mean, what else came out this year? Nothing crazy.
Astrobot.
Right? I mean, Astro, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I like this better than Astro.
How
Yeah,
much
no,
Astrobot you play?
1 hour.
No.
Yes.
MVG calling her out.
I'm friends with you on PlayStation, Josie. I was given I
I
was
see
telling the
your
guy
shame.
I was telling the guys that you only played an hour because I didn't really care
I-
for Astrobot very much, honestly.
I haven't gotten very far in it because I've started playing Zelda and then I just kind of stopped.
Uh-huh,
But my boyfriend plays it a lot and I watch him play it and I'm like, okay, pretty cool. I fought that first gorilla boss. I'll beat it after Zelda.
The Gorilla Boss was
No, you
really
won't.
good.
You have homework to do, young lady.
You want Shenmue before?
Oh,
RGT
that's
sent me
right.
Shenmue last night after we got off the thing, so I finally got it. But
Everybody wants you to play it because I feel like you're gonna bury the game, and
No,
Sean's
she's not.
desperately hoping that you're gonna like the game.
She's not. Go into it with a very open mind.
I will.
Imagine a living in a small Japanese village, and something happens to one of your family members, and you want answers, and then let the story, let the world, the atmosphere take you away.
all right,
Disappoint you.
I'm excited.
There you go. Okay, good stuff. Let me go back here after we did Konami. Let's actually. I'm gonna bring this one up just for you, Josie. Okay, because I know you are a Last Airbender fan.
Oh, huge.
Okay, good. Whew, because the rest of us, me, Sean, and MVG are kind of old, so we were going to be in trouble here.
Have you guys seen
Uh,
it? You guys haven't watched it?
I feel
I
like
never got
Celia
into it.
likes this. She's
Oh,
I
Celia,
like
you like it too?
Avatar.
It's
yeah,
so
I
good.
I watched the original series as it was like airing on TV.
The only experience I have with Last Airbender is that easy 1,000 achievement points on the 360.
Yes, that's what I was going to
That's
say.
it.
On the Xbox 360, if you just push someone in a corner and you spam your attack, you'll just get 1,000 achievement points after 5 minutes. MVG's right.
Nice.
But Avatar: The Last Airbender is getting its first AAA game. IGN revealed this 2 days ago, October 3rd, yesterday actually, and it's Saber is doing it. So it's not like it's like we're talking, oh, Game Mill's going to produce a AAA Airbender game. No, Saber is going to at least be putting this out there. Action RPG based in what's called in the Avatar Legends universe.
Huge.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Good. This is the first one. I had to think about it. Has there ever been an Avatar game that you've liked?
No.
I played the one on the DS that was like pixely. I really liked that when I was a kid. But it never saved, so I'd always like get to the Earth Kingdom and then I would turn my DS off because it'd been like an hour and then it wouldn't save anything. So I don't know if it was actually good. I just have a lot of nostalgia for that because I played it all the time.
I feel like every generation, really since it came out, like the show, there's been an Avatar game there. Like I remember it on the PS2, the GameCube. Like it's been there every single generation. Never heard anyone go, okay, yeah, this was it. This is the game.
It's a rite of passage for every generation to be disappointed by an Avatar game. Yeah. And I feel like this is the modern one. Okay, I know I sound like really negative about this, but it's just one of those things where like Avatar, The Last Airbender, it was such a lightning in a bottle series. It's beautiful. The comics are good too, fun fact. But like in general, like it's so good. And that's just something that hasn't been very captured very well with like any other medium. And I know licensed games are doing their best, and I would like to be hopeful. Maybe this will be a complete banger. I don't know. But just seeing the track record of how the IP has been handled from studio to studio, I'm not feeling that optimistic by this. I'm not very familiar with Saber Studios to begin with. I know that they did Exploding Kittens VR. Like, that's how I know them. But for the other games, I'm not familiar with them and I haven't heard anyone talk about them. So I don't know. I'm just not feeling hopeful, but I hope I'm proved wrong. I hope Josie's like, in your face, this is the best game ever.
I'm so hopeful. I feel like
ports.
Huh?
They did. Saber Interactive did a bunch of
Saber's
Switch ports.
Saber's
I don't even know if
though.
it's like, yeah, but I don't think it's like Saber that you're worried about, right? Celia? It's just like the Avatar franchise has been so mishandled gaming wise.
Yes, like just the direction with the IP in general, and like how when you're working with a studio and you're kind of giving your brand guides of how it should go. And I guess the standards haven't been to what I would like to see the franchise to be. So I'm just not feeling it. When I was talking about Saber, I'm not saying like, oh, Saber, I'm not doing that. But it's just like one of those things where port's great, but they're not porting a game, they're developing a game. And to my understanding, right? Like it's not getting ported from somewhere I don't know about.
Them in like Paramount, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like one of those things where I don't know, I just don't want to get excited and then disappointed like every other generation.
Well, I will tell you this, they're coming off of Saber is coming off of Space Marine 2 right now. People seem to love that game.
It was they are to me because I don't know what that is. So.
I mean, they've also done a lot of work on Switch ports, as Sean mentioned. So if you look back, I believe they did The Witcher 3, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had an entire like GDC, I think it was GDC talk. It was the whole developer talk where they explained how they had to do so much work to get it to just fit into RAM for the Switch. Like they showed it off originally and it was like running at 10 frames a second or something, and it took them a while just to get it optimized to where it would run on the Switch. So they seem to have quite a bit of talent there for ports, but even for something like Space Marine 2 being probably, I feel like that's one of their highlights right now is like, oh, we worked on this game outright. World War Z Aftermath. They did the Ghostbusters remastered port as well. And they're doing that Knights of the Old Republic remake that got sent back to them.
The last Avatar game we got was horrible, right? It was
this black box talking.
I don't know what's happening to my camera. It's falling apart.
There's an icon in the middle and it says RGT at the bottom.
Sorry, go ahead, Josie.
I was just going to say it was like a terrible, terrible game. So I have a lot of faith that they wouldn't repeat that another time.
Avatar.
Do you also know what Saber's doing? Jurassic Park Survival.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
That's one that I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's the one you like, Sean, because it looks like it's
because it's going to be like Park.
Well, yeah, but it's going to be kind of like almost that Alien Isolation kind of experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Saber's a pretty big like studio or published developer. They have a lot of people that work there, so
I feel like
they're both a developer and a publisher. It's like Forever Entertainment.
Okay. Let me see. What is the last one that came out, Josie?
It was like last year, and it didn't
Quest
run on
for
anything.
Balance?
Yeah, that one. It was unplayable.
Right,
so I nearly bought this game, but it was like $50. So I was like, absolutely not. And then the reviews were horrible, and This dog is like freaking.
Okay,
out.
I see it here. It is. It got a 4 out of 10 from IGN.
Yeah,
30 from Game Grin. Only 2.
So-
It looks like only 2 places even reviewed it.
So a little
Yeah.
worse than the Shattered in Space Metacritic score.
PSX Brazil gave it a 40 out of 100, 4 out of 10. Yeah, not great. Not great. So it can't get much worse, right?
No,
Look at it that
that's
way.
that's why I think this could be better. And
Okay.
action RPG sounds really good to me. If it's AAA has a bigger budget behind it. The studio, like Avatar Studios themselves, really care about the project. Like they care about that franchise a lot, and there's supposedly going to be a movie next year as well. And so if that could coincide with the movie in some way, I feel like they'd take extra care to make sure that that is a playable game as compared to their last few releases.
We're just going for a solid 7 out of 10. That's
That's
what we're
all I
going for right
need.
now.
I could even
Okay.
take a 6. I need it I need to be able to save in the game, and I need to be able to, play as an earthbender, and that's all I want.
Apparently, there's a fighting game coming up too. In the
Oh
Avatar
yeah, I did
universe.
see that. That kind of looks like shit.
Yeah,
It's going to be.
This one's gonna be really good, Celia.
it could be fire if it was done right, but I think this sounds like it might be a Smash Bros type thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. The fighting one's Garbo.
Go over here to actually some strange news when it comes to light guns. I know, Sean, you saw this, and I feel like MVG saw this too, but I am curious. Josie, have you gone to like an arcade anywhere outside of like, I'm trying to think of
That's
you wouldn't
not
find
just
this
in
really
a bar.
well, like a Dave and Buster's and stuff. They never really.
Yeah.
The closest thing they have is like the Halo or the Jurassic Park one where you sit there and you shoot at the dinosaurs or the aliens or whatever.
Oh,
I'm
they
thinking
still
of
have House of the
I,
Dead out there.
Played one of
Is it?
in the
Yeah,
okay.
arcade. I played a light gun game.
I still see House of the Dead and Time Crisis at
Did-
I
arcades.
don't
Is
see
it-
Time Crisis as much as I used to. Like the movie theater around here would always get the new Time Crisis game.
I think they have
just
the one.
stopped.
They have the one that has 2 SMGs. Usually is the one that they usually
Yeah,
run. They
but,
don't
like,
use the
Time Crisis,
double
hit the
cab.
pedal, hit the pedal to duck down and reload. So they got rid of all that. It's unfortunate. But a company says they figured this out because the move to these flat panel TVs ruined it for everyone. We had the CRTs that would at least work with light guns. Sean, you okay? You about to say something?
A company has already figured it out. The company is called Sinden, and I have one right over there.
Well,
Like,
this looks
I saw
Good.
this. I don't know.
looks like they have the license for Time Crisis, so they're releasing it as like a plug and play thing.
so
and
I
they
can
say
only play Time Crisis.
It seems like it. World's first AI powered plug and play gun for modern TVs.
So they got a license from Namco to do Time Crisis. Why not do Point Blank and all the other like games that they've done as well?
It
It's
Start
says
testing the waters.
It's
it says
pre-installed.
that-
Probably.
yeah, it's
And
pre-installed.
it's like $90 for the base one, and then
It
you can
doesn't-
get the gun and the pedal. You can get the pedals. It's $120.
The gun doesn't look like it has a recoil, so I don't know if this is going to be as fun as the
Oh,
arcade
you do need the
system.
recoil. You need to like move when
I
you're
love the
firing. That's a good
recoil.
point.
Like, okay, so it comes with a game gun, the Time Crisis console, power supply, power cable, HDMI instructions, and an autograph card. So this is for one game. So if you want to play Time Crisis, you can buy this, or you can get a $40 HD hard drive and it will plug it into your computer and buy a Sinden light gun and play every light gun game ever.
I'm curious.
Or-
The AI powered gun and console. They seem to mention this is through just machine learning. It will basically figure out where your TV is. I think is the idea. I have no idea how that actually is going to function like in the real world. That's the thing that has me curious about this is how effective it will really be because they seem to think it'll have like minimal lag and it'll work perfectly.
Low
I
input
question that quite a
lag,
bit.
100% plug and play. I mean, if you could hack the fucking thing and add some
Now
more
we're
games
talking.
to it,
Now we're getting something.
it does.
Because
it does-
it's running
Nintendo
MAME,
about to
right?
show
It,
up.
it has to be running MAME or something.
Nintendo doesn't have any fucking light gun games.
No, they just heard you
Duck
say
Hunt?
hacking. They're just checking in.
Duck Hunt?
Okay, but no one's gonna want to play Duck Hunt on this.
There were some.
I would like to
what-
play Duck Hunt.
there were
I
some
would.
fun ones only on Nintendo. The Resident Evil rail shooter light gun games. Those were pretty good.
Those are also on
Nintendo
PS3?
should release a
Oh, they
light
went to
gun, and then they can
PS?
tie it in with Nintendo Online, and then they can put Duck Hunt on there, and they
They're
can
not.
get
They're never gonna do anything cool like that. It does
No.
appear that there is a USB port
crushing
on
my
the front,
dreams.
so that is good. Just You don't need to play Duck
Sean's
Hunt.
already trying to hack this thing. We just got concept
Well,
images
for
up.
$120 to play one fucking game, like
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it's
is
kinda-
egregious.
It kind of falls into the idea that we see with like Arcade 1-Up, right? Where it's like $300 and you get 3 games or something like
yeah,
that.
and look
what,
at them.
$300.
Look
Yeah,
at them
look
now.
at them. Now they're making a fucking
Claw machines.
claw machine with a 7-ounce maximum weight. Yeah,
They got
in
claw
their
machines.
in their advertisement,
For
they
the
show
money
like
is, man.
escape. You have to put everything into these little balls in order for it to
What?
work, and it has to be under
Yeah.
7 ounces, or else the fucking crane will break. But in their advertising, they have like these big plushes and skateboards inside of there, and it's like, bro, this is fucking false advertising. Like you
You
could
got a
see
skateboard in there.
in the advertising, like the person is going back and forth with the claw, and like the whole fucking piece that attaches to it is like moving back and forth. Like that's the best thing you came up with here.
Sean, what are you talking about? Sorry, I lost the trail of this one.
We're talking about time
Arcade
crisis.
1-Up.
Sean's over here down on the
Okay, yeah,
claws.
no, we were there, and then I heard claw machine. Did you buy
Yeah.
a shitty claw machine?
No, it's because
what
Arcade
it-
No.
1-Up's making them rather
Ar-
than video games.
Yeah,
at this
Arcade
point.
1-Up
Oh.
is
because
releasing
there
one.
is a shit ton of money in claw machines. like,
Yeah,
especially
no,
after
it's-
COVID. Like
And
everyone
Why?
was like,
Nostalgia. The Time
They're
Crisis
cool.
No,
Arcade
it-
1-Up had Time Crisis, Point Blank, Steel Gunner, and
Mhm.
Steel Gunner 2. So I assume that that's the version of Time Crisis they're going to be using, which is the arcade version.
I linked it in the private chat. The
Okay.
claw machine.
Oh,
It's a claw machine.
I'll buy
I
it.
don't-
it's $500 for the claw.
And you have
machine.
to assemble it, right?
Joking.
course.
The Patreon
Unless-
is not that
Sucks.
good.
Unless you
Gotta-
Taskmaster, or not Taskmaster, TaskRabbit, R.I.P. the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. I mean, this looks fine. If you can hack it, that's cool. I do have questions about because we know how Ascendant works. It does a little
Mm.
border around your television on the inside of your television. It's a little white border, and then it's completely accurate. You can buy it with or without recoil as well, and it works with every light gun game. This. If we're using AI stuff, is that game specific?
That's a
Or
good point. You're
that-
right. Yeah. Is it? Are you at least curious about this to check it out?
I don't know, because didn't I
Mhm.
MVG? I was thinking about this last night. Didn't I remember like a couple of months ago? I sent you some all-in-one console that was getting good reviews, and it was like $100, and it was like playing PS2 and GameCube stuff. I realized I never got that, and I don't even remember the name of the company because it's been so long.
Is it Kink Hank?
No,
Kin
Kin Hank always flows me stuff. They
Oh.
send me stuff, so I know them. This was like a newer company that I had never heard of, but I saw like a video or two on it, and then I went to their website and bought it, and I never got it, and I can't remember. Like I'm trying to search my emails for it, and I never got it.
Charge
I
that
don't-
shit back.
I'm not gonna lie though,
Okay.
looking at the advertising for this, the whole AI thing feels just like marketing. Like they're
Mm.
just saying it to just say it. Like it, I don't know. It just doesn't feel
Like,
like
Make it
Is it
sound like
built
more
in-
advanced than it is.
Is it
Yeah,
built
it's-
into the
Someone like me?
gun or the device?
when
a
I
good
first
question.
when I first heard it, all I thought was, is it just a really quick way to take a picture of your screen, know what's in the center, and then immediately send it through with what feels like
Oh.
no latency. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of how like Taco Bell was like, oh, we're using AI, and then investors started paying money into it. Is this now a company with a light gun that's like AI money, please? And I don't know.
I feel
Could
like
they?
AI is a
Anything
turnoff for a lot of
else?
consumers, right? Why would they do that if it's not in it?
Yeah,
well,
I'll
they
let-
say they used it, but did they use ChatGPT to write a code for it and then claim that AI
Mm.
made it?
Hey,
Question. Okay, has this company done any other type of hardware like that we know them from, or is this their first thing ever?
if
That's a
it
good
feels like they're not well known, so
Low key, a cool looking gun.
Eh.
It's like a Nerf blaster.
And
I'll-
Sean, tell me
Wait.
I'm wrong about this, or if I'm right. Didn't Arcade 1-Up do a Time Crisis cabinet?
Yeah.
So Namco is obviously more than happy to license this
Just-
around.
Just slinging it around.
Oh, you know, okay.
Taseki.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dashin Electronics. Scroll down for English. It works with all LCD TVs, including the latest. Well, now I'm sold.
Huge.
Now
Okay.
we're in like Flynn. interesting that Time Extension, covered this, but it didn't cover my book, which actually has a track record of actually coming out. I'll take a look at it when it comes out probably, but it said that was at Tokyo Game Show as well, so I guess that's something.
You should email the people at Time Extension. Tell them your book. I bet you they cover it.
If there is a way to get a review unit of this, I may check one out.
There is something on the website where it says register your interest here, and it
I'm
leads
interested.
you to a form.
They'll send you an ad when it releases.
Demo play? Oh no. It says that I guess you could it asks what other games you would like on there. One of them is Time Crisis 2 and 3. One of them is Other, and you could put stuff in there.
Other. There you go,
Duck
Sean.
Hunt.
Any House of the Dead.
Yeah, really.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. See if we can maybe get an early copy of it or something. Let me go over to Palworld. We did have an update. By the way, it did release in Japan. Remember there's a whole thing where they kept it off of the PS5 in Japan because of what's happened to Nintendo? They got it on there, so that is out. Also, it looks like they are heading to mobile. So Crafton is going to do a version of the game and put it on mobile phones. I don't really know how they're going to do that because that does seem like a game that would just take up the entirety of the cell phone screen, and then you'd barely be able to see anything happening with the UI they have. But I guess Crafton, who also is the company that just recently bought Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush from Microsoft, apparently they're going to try to get it done. So that is pretty big for Palworld after what we're seeing Nintendo now going after them continue to expand. They're going to have that. They're going to have an anime or show of some kind. Merchandise is going on. Seems like things are happening very, very quickly for Palworld. So it's not too shocking now after seeing all this why Nintendo is sizing them up in court. So I do wonder if that's actually something that they can stop a lot of this stuff with an injunction, or if it will just come down to Palworld paying them out money if they're in trouble.
Maybe. Time will tell.
You're not going to play this on your phone, Sean?
Next topic. Come on.
It needs to be a clone of Pokemon Go. I'm just saying. Like, they need to just start really going in.
Just really, yeah.
Just get after it. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
I thought about, like, do they really need it to be the exact same game, or could they do a spin-off? Because I know Genshin Impact works across, like, platforms.
Yeah, but they built it
kind
that
of
way.
a similar thing, isn't it? Like, it's very popular on phones.
Yeah,
Genshin
but I
Impact.
mean,
Yeah.
they built it on like two different types of platforms almost, because it's very different between the two, but they do work together.
Mm. Okay, well, I feel like it's been a while before we see that, but it was interesting with all the stuff going on with them and Nintendo expanding to mobile phones that might have a bigger reach even than consoles. All right, MVG, this is gonna hurt, but we got to bring it up. Silent Hill 2. The reviews are in.
God, where's Nate?
I know Nate's missing this, and it comes in at an 87 right now on 55 critic reviews. People are shocked and in awe online right now. It's so funny to see how this has progressed over the last year or so. Ever since we find out Bloober Team was doing Silent Hill 2, to them showing it, to them saying Konami isn't doing a great job relaying this stuff to you guys, don't worry, to people like immediately like, oh, nope, it's over. They're going to destroy Silent Hill 2, to preview events being positive on it. Now the reviews come in, and it's technically one of the highest rated games of the year now at that. It seems like Silent Hill 2 is back. It seems like Konami, MVG, is back.
Konami didn't make the game.
Yeah, no, Bloober redeemed.
Konami,
This would
Konami
be,
pointed them
shut
out
up.
and said, we're going to work with you on this.
That's what
This would
Konami
be-
does now.
This would be a Bloober victory, and I've seen a lot of people that are like, "Oh, you should have never." Shut up. You don't just you need to be at the age with video games where a name no longer justifies a lot of hype, because you've seen franchises time and time again get messed up. So I don't think being cautious with this game was necessarily a bad thing, because caution this time led to a good product coming out. And obviously now with the next thing that comes out from, I know this was MBG's topic, but it
That's all right,
bothered
go
me
ahead.
how you said that. The next thing that comes out from Bloober Team, now they have a bit of a leash. Now you could give them a little bit of credit when you're looking at it, and you'd be like, oh, they've done some good stuff. I'm not saying that they've done bad stuff, but they've done very mediocre stuff. They haven't really excelled with any game, and now they finally have. So it's a good thing to have doubt, because as we learned with a game that lost hundreds of millions of dollars, toxic positivity is indeed a real thing and can potentially ruin a game.
I'm very happy that Silent Hill 2 is back and reviewing well. I'm going to, the reviews are good, right? But I've also seen a couple of things where people are like questioning some of the design choices of the game. As someone that, I mean, look, I play Silent Hill 2 almost every Halloween. I just run through it because I love the game a lot. So I'll be very interested to see how it translates for me. I think ultimately the visual aesthetic of the game looks really good. They've obviously done a lot of work to beef up the combat system, and make it a true remake for the fans. But look, I'm very happy with this outcome at the end of the day. I think they couldn't really have done any more, and I don't think the fans could have really asked for anything more. It's very similar to that Metal Gear Solid PlayStation 1 kind of discussion we had before. You're always going to piss off a section of a community that when a remake comes out. But hey, congrats to Bloober for shipping this game. I think it's going to be great. I got my pre-order in, so I'll be checking it out next week. Looking forward to it.
I think this is the highest. I had to double check a few of these. I think this is the highest rated game Bloober Team's put out so far. I had to go back to Layers of Fear, Observer. I think this is it. I think this is the high point right now for Bloober Team.
So that is what I'm saying. Like, now you can give them
their flowers.
Yeah, you can give them their flowers. Nothing. This is a consumer industry. These companies exist to please you. And if they please you, give them their flowers. If they don't please you, give them your concerns,
Okay. So that's the thing now. We see like Konami bringing back obviously some of their franchises with Silent Hill 2. Metal Gear Solid 3 coming up.
Give me Metal Gear Solid 3, and then we can talk.
Let me ask you this, Sean. I know they're different teams, but Konami still overseeing and working to put these games out there. You've seen Metal Gear Solid 3, but now you see Silent Hill 2 come out with Bloober Team that people are like, I don't know if they can pull this off. Seems like they did. Are you even more positive or optimistic on Metal Gear Solid 3 after seeing this come out?
I've been optimistic about the game the entire time, because you can't fuck up a masterpiece when they're just changing the graphics and changing the controls up a little bit and modernizing it. The jury is still out on whether or not, the Silent Hill 2, the groundwork is there. Metal Gear Solid 3, the groundwork is there. Show me something from an IP that's new. Show me a new Castlevania. Show me a new Silent Hill. Show me something new. And then we could start talking about, is Konami back? If you're just doing remakes and remasters, putting it off to other companies, are you really back? Like, this isn't
okay.
New mainline Silent Hill in the works. So yeah, hopefully we can see something cool with that.
I mean, just there's no reason to jump the gun with this. Just let it play out naturally. See what comes to us. If it's good, then give them their flowers.
Well, how about this? They a part of the interview going around for TGS, again linked to Konami here. They did mention team around Metal Gear Solid right now. Did mention that they want to keep this franchise around, that being Metal Gear, and now it seems like maybe Silent Hill can pick up some steam here now. But Metal Gear for the next 15 to 20 years, and it does seem like they're interested in making another Metal Gear that's brand new and original. How do you feel about that without Kojima?
It's fine.
I think it's fine without Kojima. Okay. Too much time. A lot of time has passed now. Again, there's going to be fans that are going to be like, nope, I don't want to know anything about this. But look, I think that enough time has passed where you could give someone else a Metal Gear game, and they would do a good job with it.
And plus, what happened after he left? Hater came back.
That's true. Yeah.
Hater's been doing a bunch of
Interesting.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he was
Saying that.
recording something recently for Metal Gear for something.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Interesting. What would he
Interesting.
be working on there? Makes you think. I'm happy to see Silent Hill 2 come out like this with the reviews. I will be picking it up this week. It seems like people have already streamed the entirety of the game online, so we know how long it is. The ending is also online already. So,
Well, one of them, right?
No spoilers, but just a yes or no. Has anything changed as far as the story and the ending? Because I mean, I know what I've played the game so
if I
many
answer
times.
that, it's gonna spoil stuff.
All right. Never mind. Let's move.
Well,
let's
I
move
thought
on.
there was a write up where there's like there's another one because there was always multiple endings in the game, so
Yeah.
maybe they just added a new one, and
seems
it
like they've
wasn't a dog behind everything at a desk.
But they just say it's like 16, 18 hours. That's how long it is.
It seems a lot longer than I can run through Silent Hill in about 4 or 5.
Yep. They've added some stuff to the game.
I do know the
so-
puzzles and all that stuff, but it's not a particularly big game.
Are you
Yeah,
gonna
that's why I
stream
saw
it,
that. I was
MBG?
like,
No.
oh.
You should get your live reactions.
Have you ever seen me stream anything, Josie? Ever?
I thought we were entering a new era.
No.
You streamed on Christmas. On Christmas
Yeah,
Eve.
2 years ago, Jonathan. 2 years ago.
I thought you did it last year. I don't know.
No, I may do one this year. We'll see.
Well, if
see.
you do one
Silent
this
Hill
year, let
Christmas.
me know. I'll pop in and we'll do something multiplayer.
bring your wallet.
Well, why are you inviting yourself into it?
Oh
yeah, I'll come over. Hey, let him.
I'll come by.
Let him decide.
That's cool. I'll come in. I'll come by. We can do Warzone. I'm sure they'll
Maybe,
do like
maybe we'll play a
holiday
boom
drop
shooter
or
or something.
We should have the new Warzone.
I
by
got
then.
Call of Duty. Like I got Warzone on my computer now.
Finally, we need a 4th.
I've been
Oh my
practicing.
gosh, we do. Sean won't play anymore.
Have you been playing Zombie Royale, Josie?
No.
Oh,
Play
that's like
that.
the thing everyone's playing right now.
Well, I'm entering the world right now.
You turn into a zombie and you got to cure yourself.
That's pretty
You got
cool.
to find vials and stuff on the ground and inject yourself with them.
I've been
it's,
playing Fortnite. A lot of that.
Well,
They put Avengers powers in the game. It's really fun.
Next.
none of us play Fortnite. But we will drop into Warzone from time to time, Josie. So if you're on, I'm sorry, you didn't get on your Xbox?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I haven't
PC you can
turned
do
on my
crossplay.
Xbox in a long time.
I mean, honestly, at this point, if it's a Series S, Warzone might eat up most of that Series S storage of this now.
Mhm.
How big? Yeah, it might. I don't know what it is. I don't know how big just Warzone is. I have to look.
I've gotten really good at mouse and keyboard controls for shooters, and I don't think I can go back to console.
You can.
There's
you can
crossplay
plug-
with PC.
You can plug a mouse and keyboard into an Xbox.
Oh shit. Okay.
There's crossplay on the Call of Duty for Xbox, PC, and everything. So you can hop in and be the 4th because the game, what it does when we don't have someone like Sean there as the 4th, it just doesn't give us another person.
It's your
Yikes.
fault.
I'm
Tell
gonna
everyone
screw.
why I left. It's your fault.
It's my fault.
You bad at the game like your Smash Bros skills?
Whoa.
Oh man, whoa.
No, I'm excellent
Oh.
at the game.
We were gonna play Mario Kart last night, and then Sean was like,
I don't.
"Oh no,
don't
I
know
lost
where it
my
is.
game. Oh no,
Do
I don't have
do
the
you
game
want
anymore."
To look through my cartridges, and first off, that was 2 nights ago. Get your dates right, and I will gladly show you my cartridges so you can see that it is not there.
And he took it
You
out
don't know-
beforehand, right before we start. He was like, "Ah, shit, I can't."
It's
I can't get
isn't it just
embarrassed
in the
again."
Mario Kart case?
No, none of my games are in the cases.
I
gotta
believe
remember, I
that,
sold
but I
when I
don't
s-
believe him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh Jesus fucking!
Where do you keep all your cartridges?
Just in a
keep them
box.
in a case.
It's a shoebox under his desk.
A very expensive case.
Plastic
Mario Kart
baggie.
8 Deluxe. Nothing in here.
It proves nothing, Sean. You could have just taken it out right before we got on.
Yeah.
You do
So
realize
you have
when I
another-
sold.
How many
when
switches
I sold,
do you have, Sean?
3, 4?
Are you sure it's not in one of those other switches?
No, it's not.
No.
There's nothing in those. It was because when I sold my shit to Phoenix Resale, I had to go through all my Switch games because I got rid of a lot of Switch games too. So I'm pretty sure that there is another case, but I have no fucking idea where it is.
Probably let one of your family members borrow it and just hasn't gotten it back.
There's probably other games that you're missing then too, Sean. So I bet you if you start taking your cases down and putting the games in, you'll realize you're missing like
Yes,
5 or 6
John.
games.
I'm missing another case is my idea, but I don't know where it is. I looked in my storage area and I didn't see anything there. If I find it, we'll play. Or if John wants to buy me the game, I'll gladly take it and download it. But I'm not. I ain't spending no fucking. It's a fucking 10-year-old game. I'm not spending $60 for that shit.
Well, hopefully you find it soon. Maybe it's like under your desk somewhere or something.
Propping up
Something
an
brown.
action figure in your
I'm
Hulk
just
Hogan
picturing it
sign.
just on the ground somewhere.
No, it's in a case, John. It's in a goddamn case, and I just don't know where the other case is.
My bad on bringing this one up.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay. So Ubisoft, Sean. I say you because we actually discussed briefly the Star Wars Outlaw stuff with the sales before we found out about them, which we know about them now. This was actually relayed by Insider Gaming, which also just rolls into Ubisoft in general. There's all kinds of stuff happened today for them, which actually, we'll just go. Star Wars Outlaws has sold 1 million copies in its first month, which
Hate to see it.
isn't good. It's not good. Context for this, because we'll talk about how smaller indie game companies will be like, yes, 1 million copies. The license for Star Wars and the amount of money it most likely took to develop Star Wars Outlaws was not small. So this is 1 million copies. Ubisoft already said that it was, the sales were soft, and they're going to do everything they can to try to move copies during the holiday season, which tells me probably Black Friday sale, Christmas holiday sale, anything, just to try to get more units moving. But that then brings us to today's news, where it appears, according to Bloomberg, that they are thinking about a buyout and then moving to a private company. Yes. And the company that would be there would be Tencent. And that has people already kind of twisted up about this right now, because so if you look at Ubisoft, since 2021, they've lost 80% of their company's value. So in 3.5 years.
I mean, the share
80%.
price, the shareholders responded positively to that news, though. Share price went up.
Yes, because if you hold stock, when a buyout happens, they offer you typically above market or asking value to get your shares. So everyone was like, oh, let's just buy shares if this is real, and then we'll just make something off of it. Which, you're right, MVG, it jumped 30% today.
I guess my question is, I know, Tencent gets criticized a lot, but look at Sony and Microsoft acquisitions. Like, anytime something like this happens, I don't think it's a good thing for the industry. But in this scenario, Ubisoft, I mean, I feel like this is Hail Mary time almost for them. Like they got to do something, otherwise they're just bleeding money at the moment. So look, whatever you feel about Tencent, I mean, if they're going to throw up a bunch of money to buy them, then that's what's going to happen, I think. But, I think we just have to be very careful about, criticizing Tencent. Microsoft, I mean, they're not really that great when it comes to acquisitions. Sony, I mean, look what they've done with Bungie and various other companies. It's, I think it's a situation where they just don't have a choice. They have to start looking at this stuff now. And I don't think Microsoft is interested in buying any more companies at the moment. I don't think Sony is either. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say there's a silver lining, because then Ubisoft can win an environmental award.
The thing that's really crazy is Microsoft spent a ton of money on Activision Blizzard, and Sony spent really now looking at definitely a ton of money on Bungie. And I wouldn't be shocked if Ubisoft went private for less money than Sony spent on Bungie. That actually would not shock me to see that. Right now, Tencent owns about 9% of Ubisoft. The Guillemot family owns 20%. So they need to basically get above half, 50%, so they can majority vote to go private, basically. And then just retrieve all the shares for probably a large amount of money that I assume Tencent would have to go into debt for. They'd have to finance it most likely, and that could get pretty bad if Ubisoft doesn't recover over the next so many years. But here's the thing I noticed about this, though. Ubisoft has the streaming rights for Activision Blizzard, which is remember that had to get spun off by Microsoft. They couldn't have that as part of the deal to get the acquisition done. They had to give them to Ubisoft or sell them to Ubisoft. So that means that then Tencent would control streaming rights for things like Call of Duty, which is kind of an odd situation for them to be in. And Tencent being as large as they are.
Do they have a stake in Nintendo?
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot. I feel like they have investments in a lot of these places. I don't know. I have to look and see how much they own of.
I think their big one was Epic, right? Like they had a really big thing in Epic.
I have to double check. If
I mean,
they have any kind of stake in Nintendo. I know the Saudi fund has a large chunk of Nintendo stock. That was a big. I remember that was a big headline that happened. But you should be able to look to see. Go ahead.
Tencent distributes the Switch in China.
Oh, that's right.
But they don't own any stock in the company.
Yeah, they don't own any. It's
it's by individual
royal
investors.
Saudi family is the company with stock in it. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, I can't care anymore. I miss the days when nobody cared about shit like this. You know what I care about? Is Star Wars Outlaws good? No, it's not. And it deserved to not do well. It's not a fun game. It doesn't feel like a Star Wars game unless you get to the final hour and a half. It's buggy. It's glitchy. It shouldn't have came out. That's the end of the story. I mean, that's what it is, man. It's not a pleasant experience.
I'm just worried about with acquisitions. There's always layoffs, and Ubisoft employs a lot of people, and I'm just thinking about what's going to happen there if it's technically unprofitable for them to buy Ubisoft. What is it actually going to look like on the ground floor? So that's what I care about.
They employ about 19,000 people right now.
Yeah.
Ubisoft. That is a significant amount of people. I figured some people were kind of kicking around like what would happen. Probably about 30-40% of them would be laid off.
I mean, alternatively, it's the THQ liquidation, right? Like
it would happen very quickly too. Like it would be like an announcement of, like thousands and thousands of jobs are being cut today. It'd be
Ubisoft in general has like, I don't know if you guys have ever paid attention to like layoffs there, but they have like a kill switch. A lot of companies now have kill switch, but you literally like go to your computer and like it doesn't work, and it's like that's going to be like,
that's how you find out.
It's like they don't give a fuck.
That's if you can get into the building. Like they usually just revoke your access.
The Blizzard firing stories, those are always great.
Yeah, but you'd be at work when they would fire you. So
Jesus.
You're just like you go back to your computer. Yeah. Oh fuck, man. So that's like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's just a lot. I don't know. I'm worried. I have a lot of friends at Ubi, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's uncertain times for them right now. I will say that, and
but
it's what they're considering.
Ubisoft. That's not just Ubisoft. That's the entire video game industry. Right
no,
now,
but like Ubisoft is extremely vulnerable right now compared to like EA or Take-Two or remember those. It was like they were like up there with some of the big companies. You remember back in like the 360 PS3 days, even the Xbox, GameCube, PS2 days. It was like you'd see that Ubisoft logo and it would be awesome. They'd be exciting for the game that's about to come up.
Well,
it felt like that in a while for them.
When you milk your franchises dry, you don't innovate, and you release a shitty Star Wars game that cost you a lot of money to make that you spent your biggest marketing budget on. Like,
and you don't make Splinter Cell.
And you don't make Splinter Cell. You don't make Rayman.
Now I'm worried about what that remake's going to look like.
If it comes out,
Yeah, that's a legit concern now. You're right.
The market's changed, man. Things happen, and it sucks, but I mean, unfortunately, that's just how things are.
They do have their, I guess you could call it their break glass moment for a certain title that seems closer than we were expecting. And I know Sean, you'll get a kick out of this, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag rumored to have been scheduled for 2025.
But I mean, how well is that really going to do? That's true. I mean, it's still.
I feel like that's the most popular. Is that the most popular Assassin's Creed?
Well,
it's up there.
It's told the best, but I think in terms of nostalgia blinders and stuff, to me, it's the best one. That's my favorite by far because it's awesome. But
MVG's like the Assassin's Creed expert. We should ask him what the best one is for the crowd, real quick. What's the move? Where's Black Flag place MVG for you?
Black Flag's top 3. I would probably I would probably put Origins ahead of Black Flag, and what would be number 1 for me? Odyssey was good as well. I liked Odyssey quite a lot. I'd probably do 1, 2, 3, Black Flag, Origins, and Odyssey. Maybe I'd switch that order around because I do like Black Flag a lot.
Are you excited for this new one, MVG?
Yeah, except fucking GameStop canceled my pre-order today, and they refunded my money. So
GameStop is such a pain in the ass.
So I guess I have to wait till whenever when's it coming out? February now?
February 14th.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's I guess they're going to reinstate the special editions and stuff because they have to remove some of the expansion pack content since that's just going into it now, like apparently just for free. So a lot of Ubisoft looking sketchy right now. I think that's okay, cool. So I have all those done. I do have write-ins, and then I also have comments from the last episode. And as I mentioned with the comments, I'll give permission to any of the people here if they see a comment they want to throw in there, they can let me know and I'll drop it in the hopper. Oh yes.
Kind Spawncast
okay, so Josie didn't know this. Okay, so here's what's happening, Josie. I think this could be fun for the comment section that is very respectful and happy at all times. Basically, any of the comments they leave down there that we want to include in the show as towards the latter half of it, I can actually put them in here and we can respond to them.
Love it.
I said it was difficult because the last comments, it was a lot of Schreier dunking, but I eventually got to some. So I said, hey, if you want to be featured, come up with some thoughtful and interesting comments, even if they're disagreeing or whatever. If they're good, interesting, I can put them in here. So I think it's a good challenge for the comment section.
Oh yeah, give them something else to focus on. I love it.
These are from the mailbag over on the Spawncast Patreon. You too can be part of this. Just check the link down below in the description. This is from Chris, who says, could the Final Fantasy IX remake be announced at the Game Awards in 2 months, or do we think a 2025 reveal is more likely? And what'd you guys think about the comments from Yoshi P about how they could split this into parts?
Yeah, that's a fucking great idea. You should definitely do that.
You guys don't want Final Fantasy IX in 4 parts to go along with this?
No.
I think 2025 is more likely. I think you're going to have a soft Game Awards this year.
Oh, you're saying that because you're not going to watch.
No, I can watch the trailers at the end because obviously nobody gives a shit about the awards themselves, including the staff there. So, it's just about the reveals and stuff and getting, fucking sponsors and how many views you got and all that. That's the celebration.
We're gonna type some craziness into the chat, Sean, as things are happening. Oh, how did that happen? What is that? Never seen that before in my life. I can't believe they brought this back. Just very vague stuff.
And I don't have to watch the whole show. I just watch the fucking highlights at the end, and then I get the same experience that you got, except I didn't waste 2+ hours of my life with
Very fair.
With 3 musical concerts from people that have nothing to do with video games and celebrities who've probably never played a video game. Who's really coming out the winner in that, John? Me or you?
Hey, if they got Fast and the Furious to show at the end, it sounds like you're missing out. This is from Counter Fifth, who says, what's your first wow moment in gaming?
Super Mario Super Mario 64.
Yep, I'm going to agree. That blew my mind when I first saw that, and I bought an N64 immediately. I was like, I need this. And that was that.
Most people say Mario's. I feel like Mario 64 is what most people think back on because that shift from 2D to 3D. You know what I'll say? I will say I'll go with Sonic the Hedgehog on the Genesis because of how fast that game moved. Like you're used to not slow, but like slower, right? Momentum based with like Mario. But when Sonic hit that spring and the screen went crazy and then flipped all the way to the other side, that was kind of a wow moment there, I would say, for 2D anyway.
It's blast processing, pal.
Hey, can only be done there.
My wow moment was in Mario Galaxy because I never played a game that was that cool.
Banjo, because he altered my brain chemistry when he got the first Jiggy and he did the little dance. That was my wow moment.
Rewired.
Evan?
That's a good one.
Just basically, what was it? It was playing any side scroller beat 'em up with my brother on NES because that really got me wanting to continue to play. Like
Double Dragon or Turtles?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would have been the specific. Yeah.
I think it'd be
good
literal
thinking.
and just tell us about your first time booting up WoW, but we'll go with that. Turtles in Time?
Yeah.
Turtles, okay. That was a good one.
Internal temp high. Oh,
I
Yeah, we're coming
know.
to you next, Eternal Temp High. Get ready. This is from Javier says, what console would you guys recommend someone who's been considering getting into emulation to start out with? And what tips do you suggest? Thanks. Big fan of the podcast.
Steam Deck.
Well, I mean, this console that I did find it. I ordered it the last week of August, so it's been over a month. However, it is coming from China, so I will give them a little leeway. This thing seems fucking awesome, and it's only $100, and it's actually a little less. You know, I've covered some stuff on my channel with plug and play stuff. You know, we okay over there? What's going
Got
on?
it.
Every time I move my chair, it like squeaks. Really?
You know, there's some stuff that you could kind of base it on, and of course, PC emulation is also, you know, a lot easier with the plug and play solutions. So it kind of just depends on what you want. You know, you can go the Steam Deck route, you can go the ROG Ally route, and you have a lot of options of what you could play. You could play up to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 on both of those devices, and Nintendo Switch too. As well, because Linus Tech
Just don't
Tips,
record it.
yeah, just don't record it, and if you do, just blur it out like Linus Tech Tips did in their video after the fact. But yeah, like it's just, you know, because you're gonna get. I'm trying to think of like a specific.
What about like one of those B-Link consoles you had, Sean? Like the ones that looks like a little tiny little console you could put in your entertainment center?
Yeah, I mean, some of those are good, some of those are better than others. Like I'm trying to think.
You could just get a Raspberry Pi, right? Just go.
Yeah,
off of
these B-Link, you can order them on Amazon, and sometimes they're on sale, but they like $300 to $400, right, Sean? But they have like a newer Radeon chip and everything inside.
Like they don't come preloaded. You're essentially
Oh,
just
I
buying
see
the
what you're
mini
saying.
PC. Yeah. And so it's a and of course there's a lot of handhelds too. You know, there's the Anbernix and all that sort of stuff. So it just kind of depends. I'm trying to see if I can find like one of my videos of something I really like.
EmuDeck tried to do a console, like a little console for emulation, and it didn't seem like, unfortunately, the Kickstarter or whatever it was, Indiegogo, didn't really get off the ground. But that was kind of the idea, was to have a little box that you bought, and it was already set up for you to just put your ROMs or games on there. But like the front end was already done. You just powered it on. It was ready to go.
Yeah,
I would say.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, check out Sean's channel because he does mini PC reviews, Retro Game Core as well, obviously. He does really good stuff. Even ETA Prime has a channel where he does stuff. I would say probably don't bother with the Raspberry Pi because you got to get the power supply, you got to get all the bits for it. And I feel like the mini PC market has just come in and eaten its lunch to some degree. I just do that.
This one is from Christian, who says, what's your favorite PlayStation exclusive out of all the generations so far?
2.
Astrobot.
Okay, Astrobot. Out of
Oh,
all
wait.
the
I thought we were
generations,
talking
I saw that. I
PlayStation
said,
5,
ooh,
sorry.
all the generations. We can go back to the first PlayStation.
Gran
Jack and
Turismo.
Daxter.
Jack and Daxter. Okay.
I love Jack and Daxter.
You say Gran
Nice.
Turismo, Sean?
Yeah.
Can I say Tomba?
Tomba.
Say
Available at limitedrungames.com.
Tomba. It's a good Switch game.
No, honestly, I'd probably say something PS2 era, maybe a Shadow of the Colossus, an Eco.
That would be mine.
Something along those
Eco.
lines.
Yeah. Eco was
Japan
good.
studio stuff was top tier.
Pure exclusive out of all the generations so far. Man, that is tough though, because like when Uncharted hit, it hit. Like Uncharted 2 specifically, that was crazy. All the generations so far. And it's funny Christian brings this up too, because now there's news going around that more remasters are coming from Sony, go figure. But like Nix's is working on ones that are bigger than some of the ones we've seen so far. And I keep thinking about Infamous, which is a game that I could still go back and play. It's just it is getting tougher and tougher on that PS3. But I still feel so drawn to go back and play it multiple times. So I don't know if it's Infamous, but that is one that I would like to see brought up. So maybe that is just one of my more favorite ones. I don't know.
I like the Spider-Man games. I'm a very recent Sony person, to be honest. I watched my brother play all the Uncharteds, which I love, but I've never actually played them myself, really. So I don't know if I can say that, but I've watched a whole playthrough of them. But yeah,
I mean,
Uncharted
was good. There was a whole commercial series, Josie, where they'd have like Kevin Butler, who was was back during the PS3 when they were trying to sell more of them, so they did like a marketing shakeup. And one of them was like the guy was like spending the night watching a movie with his girlfriend, and it turned out it was Uncharted. She couldn't tell that it wasn't a game. It was a movie. So that is something that's been brought up multiple times. But Uncharted 2 in particular, when that came out, that was huge.
Yeah, they were really cool. I like those games a lot.
They have like the Uncharted. Do you see the collection, Josie? That came out. There's like a collection that PS4 but works on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I played the first Uncharted. Man, that has not aged well.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't
It
seen that game since I was a kid.
The jump from Uncharted 1 to 2 is like astounding how big of a change that is. Like, it's a generational leap inside the generation. So that first Uncharted could use a remake. It really could. But we got Horizon Zero Dawn. So
even better.
There you go. These are comments that we had in the last video. I picked out a few of them. This one was Nerd Pixels, who said, anyone else secure a PS5 Pro? The absolute silence. So I went back and I looked at this again, and I asked a few more people. It's getting harder and harder for me to find anyone else who's ordered a PS5 Pro outside of.
I did.
MVG is here to back me up this time.
I may have some buyer's remorse, John.
Oh, what?
No.
But we'll see.
Oh, no. MVG is, no, you have buyer's remorse for the controller.
I kind of do, actually. I don't really want that 30th controller.
Oh, it looks good, though. It looks good.
I
got mine from Walmart.
I may just flip it for 5 times on eBay. It's going to annoy someone in the chat.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Sign it, buy MVG, and then charge even more.
MVG got a PS5 Pro, okay? So it's not just me. All right, so he's got it. MVG's actually going to do some more like technical analysis, I'm sure, and stuff. I'm working with it.
I'm just going to
probably even tear the thing apart.
Yeah, I'm going to tear it apart. Hopefully I can put it back together and actually use it as my main system. We'll see. Internal temp high, allow it to cool.
My camera's like,
is that a Sony camera, Josie?
It is a Sony.
They tend to overheat. Yeah. I think the one I have here, this is a Sony camera as well, but I remember I had to do a lot of research to see which ones overheated and which ones didn't, and this one wasn't on the list.
Do you have the FX30?
This is why I have a webcam.
And I
Logitech, baby.
Dude, it has kept me going for a long time. Logitech.
This might be the.
I have a Logitech also.
This might be the A6000. Josie, I have to double check. It's not like one of the expensive ones, because I'm like, it's going to be here for like streaming and for like recording and stuff. So, but it doesn't seem to ever overheat. So,
well, if only. This one usually doesn't overheat unless I'm it's on for more than like 2.5 hours. But I think because I was streaming before this, it's a little unhappy.
This one was a comment left from our Baratus, who says, as a series, Horizon sold 30 million plus. That is not sold well. That is extremely good. I double checked. The Horizon Zero Dawn sold like 23 or 24 million, and then Forbidden West last numbers were 9 million. So it has, as a franchise, sold over 30 million. I will say the Zero Dawn sales are interesting to me because they have so many, I'm sure, that sold at like $10, $15. And at one point they just gave the game away for their stay-at-home initiative, to where if you just had a PlayStation and you claimed it, you just got it in your library. So the thing is, whenever I talk to people about Horizon, I have to it's like the PS4, it's like the PS5 Pro. I have to really search for someone else who enjoyed the game. Like, I like the game, but then I have to really look around. There's not many. Sean, the last video I saw him playing it was him screaming at the people on the TV because they wouldn't stop talking. And I don't know if MVG liked Horizon or not. I don't know.
It's all right.
He's never talked.
I've played both of them. I never finished either of them. They're okay. I just kind of got bored, honestly.
This is the thing with this. It kind of reminds me of how Josie mentioned Fortnite earlier, and everyone was kind of like, I don't know. I understand that's a popular game. It's kind of like this. Okay, this is a popular game, but like I never really run into anyone who's like, oh, that Horizon game was awesome. It just doesn't happen much. So maybe that's just mainstream territory. I don't know. But it's enough for them to keep going forward with it. Since we're going to have a multiplayer game coming up, they're going to do a third one, and then there's also I think mobile game for it as well. So a lot of Horizon coming up one way or the other.
My brother is huge on Horizon. He loves it so much.
Okay, cool. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Good stuff. Maybe the multiplayer game will actually work in its favor because they can do something or introduce a character outside of Aloy. That seems to be the big issue for people, is that she is like boring or something. I don't know.
We need a man. Get a man in there, and then I'll play the game.
Actually, that leads to our final comment.
Jokes.
This is from Rob Slams, who says, why do people keep saying that it's because it's a woman no matter what we keep telling you over and over about the actual actress? That being for a Ghost of Yote, with the situation that was brewing around that one.
I think it's a valid question, but are they just going to play the role, or, because they're obviously a very outspoken individual, with some, in my opinion, at least, questionable takes on things, but to each their own. But, when you are representing something, a big game like that, and like that's one of the first things that you kind of see from it, it can be a little bit off-putting. There's been lots of games that have had, Horizon Zero, fuck you, sold over 30 million copies, and that's with a lead character that's a woman. So, my opinion.
Maybe it's just I for a lot of the roles when it comes to like fiction and fantasy and stuff, I just don't really take that much account when it comes to take into account the personal life of that person when they're just having their likeness and their voice attributed to the thing. Like you could make a case, I guess, if it's like the director of like the franchise or something, and they're going crazy online saying all kinds of like this has happened before in Hollywood and stuff, and that completely tanks a franchise and it gets buried by the main company and stuff. But in this case, it's like you see an actor on the big screen, and then you hear more from them on places like Twitter or Instagram and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay, it's weird. But then the movie or the game or whatever the show is still that show that you like. So I don't know. It's for this one in particular. I've seen what Sucker Punch did with Ghost of Tsushima. I don't really have a reason to go, well, obviously they're going to do some weird stuff with this one. It's not going to be like the same kind of effort that they put out with Tsushima, because this person is like going crazy on Twitter, apparently being very abrasive and stuff. So I don't know. That doesn't really to the character.
Matter to me at all. I feel like it's weird that
if it impacts the game in some sort of way, like
but I feel like most people playing it and buying, like Ghost of Tsushima sold a lot. Like it was a pretty mainstream game. Like a lot of my friends who are not super plugged into gaming have played and beaten that game. So I feel like most of those people will probably still play it.
Right, and it could end up being a nothing burger, and everything is fine. But you just gotta wait and see.
It's Twitter, man. Twitter ruins a lot of stuff. That's how it goes. Twitter. It's at the center of everything. Get that. Nope, that was good. All right, cool. We're good there. Yeah, for Ghost of Tsushima, you're right, just so like 8 or 9 million copies. I think that was the last number we heard from it. So I think that's a game. As I look online at the trailer and stuff for it, like the like to dislike ratio is fine. It's not like no one's really. It was brought up to me recently in another show that I did that it seems like a smaller subsection than normal that's making a big thing about this, and that it probably won't actually affect anything about really the game. So at least from what we know now. but we'll see. It's coming out next year, so hopefully it's out in the next 8 to 9 months.
I'll probably check it out.
Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, let me go around here as we finish up. I want to get some outros in here. Of course, you can check us out over on the Spawncast Network. Link down below, patreon.com/Spawncast. I'm going to start with Celia, actually. Celia, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter. I'm at Celia B with 3 E's. And if anyone wants any details on work stuff, at Yacht Club Games. We have a concert coming up. Check it out.
Yes, that's right. That's right. It is coming up. So that's that'll be fun. That'll be exciting. Go over to MVG. Where can everyone find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer. Check out the channel. Haven't started my video for next week, but I'll work on something this weekend. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you dropped that that Nintendo video right away. You were on it.
Yeah, I wanted the views.
We'll check that out. MVG talked a bit more about the Ryujinx situation. Let me go over to Josie. You here? You're here?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's go to internal temp high before she loses video again. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I'll thank you for having me on. You find me at Josie Woe on YouTube and stuff. I talk about Nintendo, and I've been streaming Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. So if you like that game, I cover that a bit.
She was doing full voiceovers. She was changing.
Oh, they're
voices.
really
Like
good.
a
A lot of stuff
weirdo.
happening. Go over, say hi to Josie. Be nice. She's streaming
Please.
Zelda, having a
Be
good
kind.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
let
Thank
me
you.
let me go to Sean. Sean, where can everyone find you, sir?
Find me on RGT85. Go to Amazon, buy the book. And that's all I got to say because I'm very hungry.
Okay, fair enough. And then Evan, where can I find you, sir?
If you're into tabletop, you can find me at Kimmerix Project. Hopefully my video will be up this weekend. I got to wrap up a couple more things for recording and stuff.
Serious business going on back there. Whole camera,
Yeah.
top down, everything. Lighting.
Yep, and hopefully we'll be back to streaming because I got some projects then in the next couple of weeks. So
Good stuff. Everyone link down below. Check them out. Go say hi. Be nice. And leave some thoughtful comments down below, depending on what you thought about any of the stuff we talked about here. Because we'll be back next week to do it all over again. And I'm gonna be looking through that comment section, trying to find some good ones.
Leave some good hateful
see.
ones too.
Yes, there you go.
for us to skip over.
Wouldn't be
We're
the
Sean the
Spawncast
Pick.
comments without it.
We'll see you guys next week.